Welcome everybody. This is another one of the state videos for the Academy of Adoption and Assisted Reproduction Attorneys. Today we're covering the state of Connecticut, and you have two of our great fellows with the Academy that I'm excited to introduce you to. And we'll start with Vicki, if you can introduce yourself.
Thanks, Kim. It's great to be here with you and Don. I'm Vicki Ferrara. I've been a lawyer for over 30 years in Connecticut, and I have a law firm, and I'm happy to be a fellow of the AAAA group. And I have a surrogacy matching agency called Worldwide Surrogacy, which has been going on for about 17 years now. And I'm gay, and I have a partner, and we have two children. So I come to family formation in my own personal way. I have one son that I gave birth to using an anonymous donor, and our second son is adopted, and he came as a baby, as a foster child, and we were lucky enough to adopt him. So that's my family, and that's what I'm doing as a lawyer.
Nothing like the personal experience, right, Vicki?
Yep.
All right, Don, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Don Shearer. I'm practicing in Connecticut now for about 48 years. People ask me, how did you come to do surrogacy and adoption? I also do adoption. And it was a real simple answer. My wife and I couldn't have kids many, many years ago. And the only way then to do it was adoption. And we, since then, have kind of evolved to doing the surrogacy. I started surrogacy practice in 1985 when it was probably unknown to most attorneys, and I continued doing it to this day, but in between served in the state legislature, where I was kind of known as the adoption family formation guru, and wrote almost all the laws currently in existence until this new Parentage Act, which just started last month. So I really have a commitment to do, my practice is limited to family formation, and I enjoy working with my families.
Personal experience again. All right, makes the two of you absolutely the go-tos for the state of Connecticut. So let's talk about Connecticut. I am not licensed in Connecticut. I do not practice there. So why don't the two of you tell me, I mean, is assisted reproduction, is it friendly in Connecticut? Is it unfriendly? Go-to state, not a go-to state?
It's definitely friendly, right, Don? We've had a very good state for surrogacy and assisted reproduction for a long time. And we just recently had the Connecticut Parentage Act enacted. I was on the board which worked on getting that passed. And we are working on getting cases now before different courts and implementing the new act.
Yeah, the Parentage Act really codified things we've been doing all along, Vicki, as you recognize. They added a few things. One of the most important parts was that they moved it from Superior Court to probate court, but significant in the act is that it includes genetic surrogacy, which many of us had walked away from for a long time because it's so different than gestational. But now the act makes both pretty much acceptable and comfortable. And what's important also is that for same-sex couples, it really smooths the way for them to have that birth certificate with their names on it. They don't have to adopt their own child. And it really is a nice outcome to have this new law.
And so, it also, oh, go ahead, Kim.
No, go ahead.
It also codified the ability of a non-genetic parent in surrogacy to become the legal parent of the baby by pre-birth order. There was a point in time in Connecticut before 2011 when the state was objecting to non-genetic parents becoming parents by pre-birth order. And then we had the case, my case, the Raftapol case, which I argued before the Supreme Court here, which then we had statute, I'm sorry, not statute, we had case law allowing the non-genetic parent to become a parent, but now this law codified that. So it's very black and white and very safe and stable legally for parents to become parents through surrogacy.
So I hear that you're gender neutral there. I'm hearing that genetics is not relevant. What about single intended parents?
No problem. Connecticut is very, very comfortable with single parents. We have been for years. As Vicky said, we really have been a good place for all this practice, and we have some great medical facilities in Connecticut with great success. And that's why we find that many intended parents from around the country end up with a carrier in Connecticut and do the procedures here in Connecticut.
Great. Really, I mean, Connecticut sounds great.
Well, the
it is-
judges are great. The judges used to, when we had hearings, would thank the carriers for what they're doing, literally bless them from the bench. It was really nice, right, Vicky?
Yeah, and Don, you mentioned how we're moving the cases now from the family division of the Superior Court to the probate court, which is a completely different set of courts for us in Connecticut. But the judges have been very receptive. Don and I have done work to draft the proper documents and pleadings that they need to see, and they're very grateful to us because we are drafting the documents in conformity with the statute. But the judges are very receptive. Sometimes they need to know more and they just ask us questions, and we've been able to get the new pre-birth orders through the probate courts very, very easily.
Do you have to have hearings?
That's
It
a
depends.
question.
Yeah, it depends on the court. So so far I have one court that's doing it virtually. And then that judge basically said that she may not even have hearings going forward. She's happy with the documentation and the affidavits that people are signing. So we may get to a place where we don't have to have hearings.
Yeah, the way the statute is written right now is for genetic surrogacy, they do require a hearing prior to even starting the medical process, and the judge has to review the agreement and accept it. But in gestational, it is clear that there's no hearing, and yet some, as Vicky said, some of the judges are requesting a hearing, and I think that has to be worked out. It's important that we continue the uniformity that we had to make life simple for our clients as well as for the attorneys handling it.
I would venture to guess that if either of you are on the case, the uniformity comes into play and the judges know what they're getting when it comes from either of you.
I think neither of us are afraid to explain to the judges where they should be on this law.
Don and I have worked on cases together. We've been in court together for different matters, and the judges really do express their gratitude for us being there and being able to submit the right papers and the right documents and keep things flowing in an area of practice where there are just not that many lawyers doing it. I think we're probably the two most known lawyers in Connecticut doing this work. There probably are a few others, but not as experienced as Don is and I am.
All right, so we've covered a lot of stuff. One quick question. Everybody always asks, how fast can I get a birth certificate after the birth? What does that process look like in Connecticut?
Well, there's been a slight change because when we had our hearings in Superior Court, we walked out of the courthouse with certified copies. And what Vicky and I did is we got the vital records people on board. We gave them that certified copy immediately. Now with the probate court, there's a whole new system of uploading to a site. Then we have to wait for them to mail certified copies. If you do it way before the child is born, it's waiting on the desk of vital records. They can get that birth certificate out within days because the state requires the hospital to submit the registration within 10 days. Once they do once they start the replacement birth certificate, it could be the same day as they do the original birth certificate. So it could be about a week after birth or two at the most.
But what I'm hearing is people should contact either of you far ahead of time. Don't wait too long. Not that Connecticut is a difficult state, just that it helps and it assists if they get a hold of you.
Well, yeah, you want to start the pre-birth process around the 4th or 5th month, right, Vic?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely second trimester, and then we'll get the certified copies in good time. And then we definitely, as the lawyers, will orchestrate making sure the Department of Vital Records has a copy, the hospital has a copy, and everything gets triggered from the day of the birth.
That's right.
All right, so before we close out the video, any other really important things for people to know other than they need to call each of you?
That's nice of you to say, Kim. That's nice of you to say. And no, I think we're just, for me, I'm just happy to be here and be able to be a resource.
Great.
And this is, I've limited my practice, so I'm enjoying making families. So it's really nice.
It's a special thing to be able to do, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we appreciate you spending your time today to share with us about the state of Connecticut. If anyone is interested in getting a hold of either of these fellows, you can go to the Academy's website, and on the Academy's website, we have a map, and you can narrow it down to Connecticut and you'll find their contact information. The website for the Academy is adoptionart.org. Again, that is adoptionart.org, and you can get a hold of either of these fellows. Thank you both for spending time with us today.
Thank you for having us on.
Thanks, Kim. Nice to see you, Don.